Oh, hello everypony, my name is Hawk Nightwing, and welcome back to the channel. I see you've stumbled upon the grand return of an old baby of mine. Well, now that you're here, happy Make Your Mark Day, how are y'all doing? It's officially been 4 years since Chapter 1 dropped all the way back in 2022. Man, we were so young, so naive back then, before we all found out the hard way just how evil Hasbro could be. And I thought, what better way to celebrate 4 years of what was once the main G5 show than bringing back an old project? Over the years, Tired Tale has gotten a lot of attention to the leaks. So much in fact that you'd be hard pressed to find any conversations about the show that started it all in the first place. And I feel like it's finally high time that Make Your Mark gets a little bit of that love too. After all, it is my personal favorite MLP show. I may have grown up on Friendship is Magic, and I still love it to this day, but Make Your Mark is my favorite MLP show. It's true. It was Make Your Mark that convinced me that G5 is actually incredible and worth defending. It was Make Your Mark that really demonstrated what this franchise was capable of before Tired Tale took the reins in 2024. Without Make Your Mark, my G5 Defense series would not have existed in the first place. Without the incredible arcs we got through it, like Misty's storyline, Sunny's whole arc about inspiring others and finding her place, Hitch's beautiful character arc with Sparky, the world building, the incredible themes. Without all of what Make Your Mark set as a foundation, this community would not exist in its current state. And I think it's time I finally finish what I started with that original Make Your Mark defense video, and truly give the rest of this series the love it deserves. I want to let this fandom know just what exactly they are not seeing with this show, and inspire them to give G5 a fair shot themselves. You know, the original mission of my channel, that very same overarching mission statement that I stated I was going to return to in my comeback video. Yep, the return of that mission statement means the return of these videos, as nature intended. The time has come for us once again as a community to fight back. Fight for these characters to be respected, and most importantly, fight for our generation. I've had a lot of time to reflect on this series over the years, my early mistakes with it, and how I want to improve going forward. And I think I finally have the answer. And well, if that announcement trailer was any indication, I plan to go all out with this video. I'm bringing back this defense series for a couple key reasons. The first reason is because I believe there is still a place for it in the fandom zeitgeist. There is still a place for alternative pony analysis on a massive scale like this. What convinces me is how much attention Ultrasonic Rainboom is currently getting with his upcoming G5 Defense series inspired by mine. It's been years since the official end of G5, and yet, people on both sides are still invested in what he has to say. All of these comments pouring in discussing the topic, debating, people still really care about this stuff. These kinds of defense videos seem to be on the rise again lately. I think enough time has passed and there's been so many videos really needlessly dunking on this generation that we once again seem to be in the position where we crave these kinds of videos. And you know what? Fair. If Ultrasonic Rainboom has enough courage in this current uncertain fandom climate to push forward with these kinds of videos with the goal of letting fans know the truth, then why shouldn't I as well? After all, my series was what started this, and I want to hopefully use these videos and the impact they have to inspire more people to pursue pony content creation, help bring more aspiring analysts out of the woodwork through these types of videos. Because you can do it too. Let's create the kind of retrospective fandom that G4 is currently enjoying, the kind of fandom that G5 deserves. I didn't think my videos had that big of an impact, especially all these years later, but we've now gotten to the point where another person's series is inspiring my own to come back. We've really come full circle. People still feel seen by them, they still feel heard. And you know, that's all I've ever wanted to do with this series. Inspire people, uplift them. So, I think it's only fair that I give this series the best shot I possibly can again. Really take this opportunity to learn from my past mistakes and make this series bigger, better, and what you all deserve. I want to give a special shout out to Ultrasonic Rainboom for really showing me that there's still an audience for these types of videos. If it wasn't for him dropping his trailer, then I probably wouldn't have announced the return of this series so soon. The other most important reason is that the return of this series marks the return of my channel to being for the everyman of this community. Lately, I feel like we've all gotten the impression that the top G5 revival projects are a bit disconnected from the wider fandom nowadays. I mean, the leaks are far more sporadic, there's a lot less public communication regarding progress unless you know where to look. Heck, the torrents don't even come out until they're done with the adaptations, which can be really frustrating. And I want to make it clear that I understand the reasoning. I do. But at the same time, I do understand the big fear that the slow pumping out of content will gradually kill interest in G5 over time. Heck, we've kind of already seen that. And in this time where the future of our community seems more uncertain than ever, I want to once again step up and provide a solution. Make analysis content the answer. We should definitely unite behind what these projects do, even if we may not agree with them personally. And we should absolutely encourage the spread of more projects within the limitations we have. Competition is king and it keeps fans buzzing. But analysis content is the one thing that's unquestionably democratic and makes everyone equal. Not everyone can be an artist or an animator or what have you, but anyone can be an analyst. Anyone can grab a mic, whether it be professional or just your phone, and state their thoughts on a piece of media. Granted, the quality of your analysis can vary depending on how much media literacy you have and how much you know about creative writing, but everyone is equal in terms of the ability to make analysis content. And that's what the return of this series and this channel is going to represent. Being a voice for the wider community, the everyday fan. I feel like we could use some consistency, something to look forward to, and someone who does communicate constantly. And I always communicate the status of whatever I'm working on. In fact, sometimes I feel like I communicate a little too much when it comes to delays. But you know what? Communication is always a good thing, and it'll be a cold day in Tartarus before I ever let this community die. I may not have always made the best decisions or supported the right people, but one thing you'll know for sure is I've always cared about this community, about you guys, the people like me building themselves from the ground up, the everyday fan who watches videos like mine and gets impacted by them. You all matter to me. The fate of this corner of the fandom matters to me. I want the return of this defense series to represent the return of a channel that's undoubtedly for the people. That is what my channel has always represented from the very beginning. I just did a very bad job of showing it with the whole, I'm the most unapologetic defender G5 you'll ever meet, and I'm better stick. But you'll notice I don't have that self-branding anymore. Not only does constantly self-elevating yourself create expectations that are 100% unrealistic, both from your audience and you, we all saw how that went, but it also makes the people you want to connect with feel inferior, like, ooh, look at me. And that isn't what I want. The mission's still the same, but the approach is more true to me, if you will. Things are changing over here, and I want this channel going forward to more accurately represent the change I want to bring. It's time we challenge that dominant G5 bad narrative once again, but this time, I'm not doing it alone, because no pony is alone who has friends. My series is going to be one of many, which is exactly how it should be. This isn't my sole effort anymore, and it never should have been. This time, I'm excited to share this journey with other people in my community, like Ultrasonic Rainboom, the Blue EM2, and hopefully maybe some of you guys one day. Now, by the time you guys actually see this video, Rainboom's video on why Twilight isn't a villain in G5, his first dedicated defense video will also be out, and I want to encourage all of you, my audience, to check it out as soon as you can. I know me being so excited about having competition in my niche sounds weird, but like I've been saying, I want this. Yes, let there be competition. I want to be upstaged, lol. Hey guys, Future Hawk here. I'm speaking after I just came out of watching Ultrasonic Rainboom's video, and it turns out that I was 100% upstaged. But you know what? That's a good thing. I don't take back anything I said. This is, without a doubt, the best first impression you could have ever given for his series, and I cannot wait to see that Opaline video. So, subscribe to his channel, make this video blow up, and let's make both of these videos represent a new era for the community. Anyway, back to Past Me. And I hope that my official endorsement encourages you all to make that video a success, as he deserves it. The more G5 content we have, the better. This right here, this is how we keep this community alive between releases. Dedicated defense/analysis content that speaks the truth and keeps G5 in the public consciousness whether people like it or not. My corner of this community, the side that's built from my online presence and the videos that I make for this fandom, will be the side that's healthy. It's the side that's gonna feel supported. And it's the side that'll hopefully never feel abandoned again. Now, with all that out of the way, what exactly is Part 4 gonna look like? Well, I'm not gonna spoil everything, but given I like to be transparent whenever possible, I will drop a few hints. Actually, you know what? Some of the hints were in fact in the trailer itself if you looked hard enough. Now, granted, I have not put one single second of footage to screen yet. I haven't even gotten started on the video itself yet. It's all been research and pre-production up to this point. Everything you saw earlier was hypothetical shots that could be in the video, though I would like them to be in the video. I'm probably gonna post another trailer that actually has video footage in it closer to the date of release. But that doesn't mean that those certain shots weren't for nothing. They do represent actual points I'm going to be talking about in the video. Now, certain shots I did pick out because I just wanted good reaction shots to build intrigue, but others I selected for very specific reasons. Like playing the trailer back, there's going to be a ton of Misty analysis, particularly around chapters 4 and especially 5. It's pretty much universally agreed on, even by G4 purists, that Misty's story was the best aspect of Make Your Mark. And I agree. In fact, I want to take the conversation a step further by really getting into the meat of why she works from a writing standpoint. I also put a lot of emphasis on Sunny and her storyline around the latter half of this trailer, as you can see by these shots. So explaining why Sunny was in fact a great protagonist is extremely important to me. There is most likely going to be a lot of analysis on that front, as in my opinion, you can't defend G5 without defending Sunny. She's the heart of the story. Now, I put the locket here and the ending of Sunny's speech in these parts because these are all connected to her arc. I really want to get into the fact that, yes, Sunny in fact did have a character arc. Perhaps not as strong as the one she would later have in Naruto Season 2, but as a foundation, it does work. more on that in the actual video. Another highlight is Sparky and Hitch. Hitch had a fantastic storyline in regards to being a father to Sparky, and the question as to whether or not he'd have to give the baby dragon up hung over the last 2 chapters like a dark cloud. It was, without a doubt, one of the most beautiful aspects of the entire show, and part of why I hold it in such high regard. I'm really excited to talk about Hitch, as I feel like his characterization, along with Sunny's arc, is one of the most misunderstood aspects of G5 as a whole. It's good, actually, the original draft of Hide and Seek notwithstanding. You'll also notice that I put Seashell here in this part. There's a very good reason for that. In fact, I'm actually going to spoil part of my analysis in my upcoming review of Naruto Season 1's The Rise and Fall. It's a brief tangent considering I want to save the majority of my thoughts for the actual video, but let's just say my girl got robbed big time by the Naruto writers. Don't worry, Rise and Fall. We'll get to you on how you destroyed Making Mark's perfect finale by leaving out so much important context to fit your arbitrarily mandated 5-minute runtime. Your time will come. You really thought you could escape, huh? But the truth always comes out eventually. Anyway, expect that long overdue review by next week or something, the week after this video. The dragons will definitely be defended, especially their designs and why their roles in Chapter 6 mattered. Spike especially because I adore his G5 portrayal. I literally chose this shot to put in the trailer because his expression here just screams, yes, you people hated me for far too long. Now I'm finally gonna get my long overdue revenge. Lastly, I do have a lot of updated thoughts on Secrets of Starlight, years after my original review. A lot of extra thoughts, especially now that we know how the Allura arc ends, and how Comet was completely wasted. Yeah, I ain't beating around the bush here. Not only was this genius dynamic with Izzy not capitalized on in any subsequent G5 installment, but he just straight up is useless now. But his Secrets of Starlight portrayal is still golden to this day, and I can't wait to get into why. I'm currently trying to decide whether or not to analyze his slow degradation of relevance in this video, or make a completely separate video dedicated to him. By all means, you guys tell me the better option in the comments below. But I will definitely talk about Allura's original portrayal in Secrets of Starlight. With the way that Naruto went on to change her, mostly for the better in Season 2, many people seem to forget that she was originally this. A deliciously evil antagonist with a mysterious backstory and actually cool powers. Dare I say it, the potential that Make Your Mark Allura had in her own right to completely destroy Opaline in terms of antagonist quality, and how Comet could have been the anchor to this arc, similar to how Misty was that for the Opaline arc, cannot be overstated. I'll also talk about the impact Sunny had on Violet Frost as a leader, as well as why the moment Violet Frost gave Izzy the Nova Charm was such an important moment in terms of how it would shape the story moving forward. There's obviously a lot more I'll be covering throughout the video, but these are just notable highlights that I know for sure will be talked about, so I feel confident mentioning them. As y'all can probably guess, Part 4 will cover chapters 4 to 6 of the series. If you're curious to see my thoughts on the previous chapters, Part 3 is available on my channel homepage, and in the description as well. But we're covering the rest of the show here. If you guys want an estimate as to how long it will probably be, it should be around the length of Jackson Finale's Camp Coral video. If it's any shorter or longer, you'll be the first to know about it. I am pretty much using that video as major inspiration in terms of how to cover Make Your Mark from a writing perspective. In fact, I pretty much watch him religiously now like Safe at this point. He's honestly helped me re-engage with SpongeBob all these years later in a way I never would have thought possible, so go subscribe to his channel too. He is severely underrated as a creator. You will learn a ton about creative writing from him, and his anti-AI SpongeBob streams are just hilarious. He's been a huge inspiration to me. I also want to give a massive shout out to Gaming Magic 13 for really inspiring this series in the first place. It's because of his How Toy Story 4 Destroyed Everything 5-part analysis/takedown series that I even got the idea to do something similar, but with G5. After that, he would later go on to make an 8-hour praise video on the Owl House. 8 hours, let that sink in. The guy is dedicated, and he's still making big mega long video essays to this day. I realized early on that, hey, I wanted to be like that. And, well, I'm pretty much wearing the inspiration on my sleeve at this point with the title, so thank you Gaming Magic 13, you absolute legend. Without you, this series wouldn't exist. I plan to release Part 4 in the fall of 2026. Now, I know that sounds very vague, like when in the fall. The truth is, I want to give myself plenty of flexibility. I have learned a lot about announcing stuff too soon, and then having to delay it. My Turtle/Make Your Mark inspired G5 AU series out of producer New School Year comes to mind in that regard. By the way, I highly recommend you subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of that series. It's basically like a new G5 revival for me, but far less stress. And I will be mentioning it a lot in Part 4 when it comes to discussing how Make Your Mark inspired my own creative process. I now have an outlet to really apply what I learned about creative writing. But back to what I was saying, I want to give myself plenty of time in case an initial release date doesn't work out. Ideally, I would love for it to come out on November 23rd, the 3rd anniversary of Chapter 6. But if for some reason it doesn't come out then, hey, no biggie. As long as I get it done before the end of the year, I'll be satisfied. This is going to be a big project. Probably the biggest thing I've ever done on this channel in terms of video essays. And I want to really build up to it. So, as we progress through 2026, I plan to go out of my way to make smaller, mini defense videos on G5 topics I'm passionate about. Not only to keep this generation into public consciousness, but also to slowly build up an audience for that big video. These mini defenses will either be smaller writing analysis videos or reviews, 20 to 30 minute analysis videos, or maybe even the occasional hour-long videos. Those are if I'm feeling brave enough. You guys might even see little shorts here and there teasing my progress as we go along. All of these videos will be the bread and butter of my channel, in between my experiments with G4 and coverage of other fan projects. And this video, part 4 of my defense series, is going to be the Avengers Endgame of my channel. Yes, I'm absolutely serious. You guys deserve nothing but the best after all these years of waiting, and I ain't gonna hold back. This is the return of my channel to being educational, with the goal of educating people about what G5 gets right instead of wrong, and be an outlet for people to gain media literacy from MLP. By the way, you can thank Jackson Finale again for really educating me about what media literacy is. I genuinely had no clue before I started watching it. I want to really lean into what made this channel special in the first place, while also modernizing my approach. My channel was the first to say with a confident voice that, no, you are not wrong for caring about G5 in the way that you do, and G5 overall has good writing actually. To have a channel say that so authoritatively, and to have writing concepts back it up, there's something oddly cathartic in that. It's something I wished I had when I first got into G5. Maybe, if people like that were more widespread, I would have never become so jaded and cynical regarding this fandom initially, an attitude which led to my earliest mistakes on the channel. And while my channel had to grow the hard way, through hardships and even heartbreak, I hope that I can be the affirming voice that some of you might need, in the hopes that someone validating what you believe will lead to you having a happier outcome, not having to repeat the mistakes I made. No one should have to suffer like I did to get to this point. No one should have to feel like they're worthless or like their voice doesn't have any value, meaning, or impact. No one should have to grow up the way I did in this community, the hard way. No one should have to mature out of realizing that pleasing everyone is impossible and that not everyone is going to understand or like what you do. Not everyone is going to understand why you do a certain thing. Sometimes the approval of certain people just doesn't mean squat. And going back into these defense videos, it's important for me to keep that in mind. I'm not doing this to please everyone. I'm doing this to please the people who will listen. I'm going back into this because I want to open a bridge between the people who will listen on both sides. And I want people to find common ground through loving MLP, both generations. The people who will listen, the people who have an open mind and want to be convinced, those who are curious, and those who want to give me a second chance, welcome, I'm here for you. If you fall into any of those categories, my content is 100% for you. And I hope you'll learn a lot. I hope we can rebuild this community together, one step at a time. If you're not like that, if you don't fall into any of those categories, if you just don't like me, that's okay. There are other channels. But this is the time to be authentic, and this is the time for me to lead by example and show us that we can stick up for what we believe in. G5 may have been killed off by Hasbro, but it's not over to us. As long as we keep making content out of it, G5 will never truly die. Not really. We still have the leaks, occasionally, and me, Ultrasonic Rainboom, the Blue EM2, Phelan Cortez, Sugar Dawn. We're all going to work to bring analysis content back to this community and breed a new generation of MLP analysts. This community isn't going to die. Not if we don't let it. We can still thrive between releases, and I hope that I can help prove that in my own special way. I want our content to be a statement to the rest of the fandom that this is what it looks like when you embrace G5. We can keep despairing over the fact that Hasbro screwed us over, become bitter, turn on each other, like we've been doing. Or we can pick ourselves back up, get back on the horse after we've been thrown, and make content ourselves. We don't have to be reliant on one single source for our happiness. Yes, it is sad what happened in G5. It's devastating. We should approach anything that Hasbro does next with caution. But at the same time, if they're not going to treat us right, so what? If the leaks are going to take forever, also so what? My community is going to stand for endurance and finding new ways of finding fulfillment. I had to go through that journey myself. And you know what? I'm still on that journey. I'm still figuring out who I am now as an adult. But even though it took a long time, I eventually dusted this channel off and decided that it deserves a second chance. That I deserve to earn a second chance. And I'm going to fight hard for it by using this channel and the content I make to prove that this community deserves better. We all can do better. That you can be the change that you want to see. And if this series can still resonate to this day, if it can still leave an impact on fans with open minds, and if it can even inspire new analysts to pursue their own video essays, then perhaps there's still a place for this series in the fandom. Perhaps there's still a place for a passionate defense of My Little Pony Generation 5. Until then though, feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited like I am that these videos are finally back? Or are you livid that someone's actually defending G5 in debate 2026 and you want to debate me? Either way, I'm cool with it. Let's discuss. With that being said, this is Hawk Nightwing signing out until next time. Hoof to heart.